Hey, this is Dominic.
This is Anne.
And welcome to week 3 of our podcast.
Yes, welcome back. And if you're new, then thanks for joining.
All right, so we did our first 2 weeks where it was more just audio. After some feedback from our whopping 53 viewers, we decided to add video to give it a little bit more context and add a little bit more flavor and focus on Anne's beauty because no one wants to see the beast.
Let's leave it at that. That's good.
So we've been talking a lot about relationships. The title of the podcast is Our Next Chapter. So the premise of what we're here discussing is, what do married people do when your entire life has been focused about your kids? So Ann and I spent the better part of the last 24 years where it was solely focused on the raising and betterment of our children. And now we're at a next chapter in our life where we're trying to figure out how to maintain a marriage and how to maintain a friendship and how to stay together. Became a really important topic to us because we've seen a lot of people our age or around our age or friends of friends who get to this point where the kids are all done and they don't have that focus and they don't have anything to do. And so they end up splitting up.
Yeah, I can't agree more. So we obviously want to figure out what our next chapter is. And that's why we're trying so many different things. Like we mentioned the other time, we did yoga and different ways of just like talking and enjoying each other's time and company, really, just so we can figure out how to continue to move forward while enjoying life and then watching our adult children figure out their own lives. So
one of the things that we decided to do was Anne was given a pie chart, which is called
a life pie chart. So, there's no playbook for your next chapter or what you're experiencing. So you really seek the advice of others. And I'm always open to that. I always like to understand what people are doing different to help really improve our way of life, our relationship. And someone had suggested to me, which was really great, is to do a life pie chart, which I have never done before. And it was extremely enlightening to sit down and just dedicate some time and creating literally a pie chart of how you view your relationships or your life, and being truly honest with yourself, because obviously if you're not honest, then you really can't see where you have opportunity. And so I wanted to explain what it is really. So you just take a notebook like I did right here. I'm starting a journal, which I really love because it's like putting my thoughts into paper and then giving me the ability to reflect back on it. And then you decide the percent of your time spent on certain categories. So one of them is your job, your children, your spouse, friends, parents, and then yourself. And I was very shocked at how my life let's say within the past, 6 to 8 months, how much time I spent in certain areas, like my job, for instance. And then once you really identify where you're at this point of your life, have an aspiration or goal in terms of how much time do you want to dedicate to certain aspects of your life. So I don't know if you want me to share it, but I don't know if you wanted to add more context to that.
No, I think the bigger context of the exercise is to truly figure out where your time goes. If you can start this process early, I think it'd have a lot more impact. It's hard to go back. I think, like Ann said, the biggest aspect of the entirety is being true to yourself, being open and honest and explaining where your time goes. I think all of us would get surprised. A lot of us think that we're being selfish with our time, when in reality, you're not being selfish enough with your own time. You don't do enough towards self-care. Or as the kids get older and you divide and conquer, the division sometimes gets lopsided one side or the other by need, by necessity, by requirement, by desire, whatever that may be. Is that what you saw?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, and as you go through life, there's so many different stages, from being married to then moving into parenting, and then your children getting older, and then what happens with your parents aging. So that pie may change, but one thing that Dom mentioned that you can't forget about is yourself, because if you're broken, or if you're going through things and you're not grounded, then everything around you sort of crumbles, or the pie becomes so overweighted in a certain area. And I'll be really honest, mine was my job, and extremely important. I'm very career driven, but I know new things had to change to really get myself in a place where I was happy with myself, and then I could then balance everything else, such as my children, my spouse, friends, etc. But how to divert more of that energy into myself, right? So
Yeah, and then how that transition happened. We talked about this over the weekend with the expertise help of our wonderful daughters. When they were very young, Ann and I both had a huge percentage of that pie being dedicated to their growth and their structure and their activities and all those kinds of things. And then around middle school, they became a little bit more independent. We decided collectively that I was going to do a career change and go work for the schools and be more involved in that. And that in turn gave Ann an opportunity to take on more at work and be more career focused. I don't think any of us are prepared how that ends up turning out or what it takes away from all the other things. And the biggest impact is what happens after. After, meaning the kids graduate from high school and they go away to college, and you start to figure out, what is my relationship now, or what is my purpose, or what do I do? I mean, me personally, my free time was mostly spent out on the football field or baseball field or lacrosse or track, or doing these things with the kids every weekend that when they were gone and didn't have those events, I was kind of like, okay, now what do I do? That's just not what I did. I didn't spend a lot of time in self-care or self-involved activities. So that's become really, really important to me, thankfully supported by Ann, where I go out and play golf once or twice a week, or I go hiking a lot more often, or I do a lot of other things that involve my time and create an opportunity for us to do things together, to do things independently.
Right. And it's fun. Like, I have to stress, your pie will potentially change, but that's okay as long as you're in sync with your husband and you're in sync with your family and everything like that. But it's been fun, like we said, more as you identify where you were at and where you want to go, then you're trying through things like yoga or hiking in places you wouldn't before, or what are some of the other adventurous things we're doing?
Becoming a superhero.
Oh yeah, becoming Lois Lane and Superman or whatever it may be. So, and golfing. I will get there at one point, because I know that is definitely not one of my strengths. But it's just cool, because then you're doing with other people, you're meeting new friends, you form better new friendships and things like that. And we're kind of like people that love the community, love people, and so any opportunity for us to get to know other people and their lives, then that kind of is like exciting and fun.
Yeah, and again, if you have the opportunity to do this early on, I think you could grow a lot more from it, but you're never too late to do it. And when you do it, be honest and open with yourself, learn from it, and understand, going back to the first 2 recordings that we did, and it's my mantra, is staying uncomfortable. So when you venture into new aspects of life and you try new things, they're going to be uncomfortable. And most people go, oh wait, I don't want to do that anymore, I'm uncomfortable. That means your mind is open. You're now receiving, and you're educating yourself, and you're learning, and you're growing, and that's when the action happens, and that's when the fun starts. And that's what we're doing, doing these things together, just the two of us, getting to know each other, understanding that, hey, we actually kind of like each other. It's kind of cool. We can go and hang out, and it's not as stressful, and it's not as problematic, and we enjoy it more. So it's not perfect. It's not roses. Not everything that we do is going to be some big, super cool outcome, but it's a lot of fun. I think it's, you watch our social media, we do a lot of fun stuff. It's not always perfect. It's perfectly imperfect, but it's enjoyable for us.
Hey, use my logo for my shirt that I bought.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping in there and helping out with that one. So go ahead.
No, exactly that. So, want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Again, we just are here to share a journey. Hopefully it inspires you, maybe one, maybe a lot, just to think of other ways to get through your next chapter.
Yep. Subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Our intention is to do this weekly. It's a work in progress, so we'll see if we can get there. As we stated in our last audio, because we weren't video yet, we're getting ready to go on a trip to Italy. We're super excited, the 5 of us. It should be another very uncomfortable adventure. New country, the 5 of us without any travel partners. So we'll be learning a lot. We'll be growing a lot, and looking forward to getting back to everybody. But again, subscribe. We're shared out on social media. Message us. Let us know what you're interested in or what we can do in the future.
Yeah. Remember, life pie chart.
Dominant signing out. Peace.